Союз Українок Канади святкує цього року своє сторіччя. The Ukrainian Women's Association of Canada is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year.
Добрий день, шановні глядачі. Мене звати Ірина Гриців. Сьогодні я запрошую вас познайомитись з Леоною Бриджез, активною союзанкою, щоб ми разом більше дізналися про Союз Українок Канади. Пані Леоно, представтесь, будь ласка, де ви народились, з якою хвилею еміграції в Канаду прибули ваші предки?
Я, Leona Bridges, народилася в Едмонтоні, тут в Альберті, в Західній Канаді. Мої предки приїхали до Канади в першій хвилі імміграції з України. Фарини, ніби родина мого батька, приїхали і оселилися на Хомштеті у Northern Valley, Альберті. А родина моєї мами, це були Івасюки, вони оселилися на Хомштеті у Кейленд, Альберті. А я була роджена тут в Канаді, мої батьки також народилися тут в Канаді.
Чудово, дякую. А ви сьогодні вбрані в дуже гарний костюм. З якого регіону України він, скажіть, будь ласка?
Цей костюм, він був мені даний ще в Україні 1972 року. І як я з батьками поїхали на Україну і оставилися на Буковині, в Чернівцях, близько Чернівцях мешкали родина моєї мами, отже, Івасюки. І моя троюрідна сестра з своєю мамою виткали мені оцей килим, що ви бачите за нами.
Чудово, дуже дякую. Можна вас запитати, як ви зберегли українську мову? Ваші батьки тут народилися, як вам це вдалося?
Та це не була легка справа, Ірино. Це мова йде з сім'ї і з громади. Союз Українок Канади, членки цієї організації, до якої я належу, вони створили і садочок український, і українські школи, недільні школи. І я ходила до тих шкіл. Там я навчилася по-українськи говорити. Також наш дід Фарина дуже вимагав вдома, щоб ми говорили по-українськи. Як я вже ходила до вищої школи, так званий high school, то мала нагоду вчитися української мови, викладали українську мову як предмет в той час завдяки Союзові Українок Канади і інших таких українських організаціям тут в Канаді. Ще й до того я скажу, що я мала нагоду також вчитися при університеті, Альбертському університеті тут в Едмонтоні, де викладалися слов'янські мови. Я вчилася при університеті також.
Чудово, дякую. Велику роботу провів дід Фарина і Союз Українок Канади. Я знаю, ви записались до Союзу Українок Канади в 81-му році. Що вас до цього спонукало?
Я взяла членство, тому що мене виховали союзанки. Мої бабусі, тетівші, хресні мами і рідна мама були союзанками. Отже, я тому взяла членство.
Чудово, дякую. What is it about Ukrainian Women's Association that you really admire the most?
Well, I admire their mandate, which, in my way of thinking, was perhaps threefold. We have, first of all, the desire to preserve the Ukrainian heritage. That was the principal objective of the association. But it was also to educate women, to encourage them to become good Canadian citizens and leaders in the community, and also to serve in the Ukrainian diaspora.
What can you tell me about the association's involvement in World War II?
Well, I chose to talk about their involvement in World War II because I feel it is a good example of some of their work in Canadian society in general. They didn't just create great cabbage rolls. So they in 1939 became involved with the Red Cross and efforts to help out with soldiers overseas and the war effort in general. By 1940, they had managed to raise enough money to buy an ambulance, which they then sent to the front.
Wow, okay.
Fundraising through the Red Cross Association was done. Committees were formed by our Ukrainian Canadian women, and these committees were very often very full of our Soyuz members. They sent packages overseas to soldiers. They sewed, they knitted, they sold war bonds. They really made a huge effort to help with the war effort. And in 1940, which I find this became a bit of good publicity for Ukrainian Canadians, they decided to have a large embroidery sales, Ukrainian embroidery sales, in Winnipeg, Montreal, and Toronto. And they created pieces of Ukrainian embroidery and then sold them. And this all went toward the war effort. It was a massive undertaking.
What a powerful group of women. Was the association recognized for their war efforts?
Their war efforts. Well, I will say this, that the Ukrainian Women's Association of Canada has been a member of the National Council of Women of Canada since 1939. So they were, in fact, the only Ukrainian Women's Association that was a member of the National Council. So in 1954, after World War II, during the Cold War, they were the only Ukrainian Women's Association that was invited to participate in the government's efforts, the Canadian government's efforts, the Civil Defense Department.
Okay.
They were invited to participate in defending Canada during that Cold War period. And so I feel that they were acknowledged for their World War II efforts.
Impressively large shoes to fill for today's women's, absolutely. Tell me about the work of the association after the World War.
Well, it wasn't over, it turns out. And what happened after World War II was the Ukrainian Women's Association continued to send packages overseas, but this time not to soldiers in the field, but to Ukrainian refugees and Ukrainian prisoners of war.
Right.
These were found in places like Italy, Austria, Germany. Our Women's Association had a massive correspondence with these people who wrote to them begging them to ask the Canadian government to allow them to come to Canada. And it was as a result, largely, of this correspondence that the third wave of Ukrainian immigration took place. So they did a massive job. And I should mention that the Cool Folklore Center at the University of Alberta has a website. It's called the SUCH website, Sustain the Ukrainian Heritage in Canada. And this website is now available to those who would like to research their ancestors who may have been part of this refugee movement, third wave. You can go on that website and try to find your particular family members and find out a little more about how they managed to get to Canada. Along with that, the Ukrainian Women's Association has a website where they have stored the archival issues of Promin magazine, which was a Ukrainian women's magazine here in North America. I think it's the only one left. There used to be a number of them in North America, but we are the only magazine that is still being published. And that will also give a lot of the history of the Ukrainian Women's Association of Canada.
How wonderful to have all of that captured and available for generations to come. Huge work. Thank you. Доброліж family was sponsored to come to Canada by Peter Zvarich of Vegreville. So they were members of the third wave of immigration to Canada. What precious item do you have from the Dobrolish family?
Well, first let me say that the Dobrolish family was full of artists. They were very gifted. Painters, concert pianists, opera singers, and dancers. So this particular item was painted by Vadim Dobrolish, who made his living in Canada through his art. And that wasn't an easy thing to do. This particular painting was commissioned by my mother. She wanted him to paint her idea of an ideal Ukrainian village. And so he did. She had never been to Ukraine at that point. It was back in 1961, but it is a treasured possession in our family.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you for sharing the history of Ukrainian Women's Association of Canada, who will this year be celebrating their 100th anniversary.
My pleasure. Thank you.